there's more for you, you feel it. You know it. This is your life, and it's time to go from contender to champion. This is the show. John Madsen.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, John Madsen. Super excited to be here. Thank you all again for all of your support. If you haven't seen the new website, johnmadsen.com, and input an email address for me to be in contact with you, we are about to roll out weekly newsletters that are going to be super cool. So if you haven't gotten on that list, do so. We can stay in touch that way. Any news about the show, you'll be the first to know about it. And again, thank you for your support. All the 5-star reviews. You guys are screenshotting episodes and tagging me on Instagram. I love that stuff. You're hitting my inbox. And when I see your messages, show recommendations and all that, man, means a lot to me. Show's growing fast. If you find that you want to share this episode with somebody you think will benefit, please do so. That's how we've grown. And again, it's all because of you guys. There's been people on this podcast or listeners who've reached out and said they've listened to every single episode. So again, I'm humbled by that. And to be completely honest, I truly believe that one of the biggest superpowers a person can find within themselves is to find their own voice. And being on this journey with you guys, finding my voice from episode 1 to episode whatever I'm on, has truly had profound impact on my life. So I'm just going to turn the table and thank you. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to hit something that I really, really want to talk about. And it's something that I've talked about in the past, but I'm going to glaze over, I'm going to put like this puzzle together for you. Okay? Like if you have a goal or you're stuck and you're not hitting it, there's truly only 3 things that you got to think about. And it doesn't matter if it's financial goal or fitness goal or whatever goal. You have to put these 3 things together, and it's so simple, guys. It's so simple. Somehow people don't understand this. And I think the reason is a person's mind is so chaotic. They're running from thing to thing to thing, and they're constantly reacting, right? Instead of responding, which we've talked about. But let's just say for an example, and the purpose of this show is like, John, man, I don't know why I can't achieve the result that I want. I truly want some help. Okay. And here's where I would go with you. Okay. Here's exact steps I would take with a person who feels stuck in any arena. Number 1 is identify the outcome that you want. And I've said this a million different ways. And again, I'm not going to hammer this one on this episode. You get it. And if you're a first time listener, if you go back and you're like, damn, I love this message, I resonate with it, you'll hear me say this 25 different ways in probably 25 episodes. What the fuck do you want? What is the outcome, right? What is the outcome? Do you know specifically what you want? And then go a little bit deeper and ask yourself why you want it. Why is it important, right? And if it's about fitness and you're like, I just want a 6-pack on the beach, it's not that. There's a why there. Why do you want a 6-pack on the beach? If you just went through, a diet program or read a book, like why do you want what you're shooting for, right? There has to be a deep resonance there. If a person in my group couldn't find it, I would help them find it. Okay. But if you asked yourself why enough and you were honest, then you would probably come up to the real reason. If you don't have the desire, right? And this is what it comes back to, the burning desire for the outcome. If you don't have that, then there's nothing you can say or do to get yourself any closer to the goal that you feel stuck in. Okay. So like as a kid, my burning desire was to ultimately play a professional sport. I played that game at the finish line in my head from the time I was literally out there shooting baskets in the snow. My mom would play catch with me in the backyard and play catcher while I pitched. In my mind, I wasn't even playing as me. I was playing as me in a uniform for one of the professional teams. and I would practice and I'd have this image, right? That burning desire is what gave me the discipline and never miss practice, right? I didn't miss practice. Other kids miss practice because they didn't do their homework, or they didn't, or their family wanted to take a vacation, and that's fine. I didn't miss practice. I wanted to be the fucking best, right? And that discipline was there because I had the desire for the thing. But if without the desire, I'd just be another kid who's picking dandelions in right field, parents wondering why the kid's playing right field when the kid missed, a whole 2 weeks of practice because they'd rather go to the beach and, surf, which is fine. I wanted to play baseball. I wanted to play football. I wanted to play tennis. I didn't miss practice, right? The discipline was there. So before we even get any deeper, like, what do you want, and is that burning desire there? If it is, move on. Okay? If it is, we can move to step number 2. Step number 2 is you need a game plan. You absolutely need a game plan, because you can go ahead and think and have this thing that you want to achieve and do all the wrong shit. And what I mean by that is I have conversations with people when it comes to fitness. And if they come in, I say, the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to snap a progress photo, which is a snapshot that tells me exactly where you're at. And that exactly where you're at is then going to be compared to the next part, where I want you to send me a photo of somebody or something that you want to look like. And whether that's King Leonidas or Hugh Jackman or the Incredible Hulk, whatever it is, it's got to be realistic to you, and you gotta have that as the desire piece, right? For me, I'm looking at my vision board, and I've talked about this a million times. I have King Leonidas in 300. I watched that movie when I was in high school. I said, that's what I want to look like. I've had that image in my brain. Strength, power. Why? Because it's a feeling, not just because he has a six-pack, because I want to feel like a fucking warrior. I want to feel like a fucking king. That feeling precedes anything that I'm going to do. In fact, my presence, having that feeling in any interaction, is going to precede the first words that come out of my mouth. It's going to precede the first handshake. It's going to be an essence of me. I want that image, right? I have it burned into my soul. I know what I want to look like, right? And if you're like, well, I want to look like Hugh Jackman, or I want to look like Brad Pitt, right? Whatever it is, I need to know what that looks like for you. And, it's got to be on some level realistic for you, not in 90 days or 60 days or, not in 6 months or even a year, but in 3 years or 5 years or even 10 years. At some point, it's a goal that's worth pursuing, no matter how much time it takes. Okay. And then it's my job as a consultant or a coach, and, relay this to fitness too, finance too. It's my job to say, awesome, here's exactly what you need to do. Here's exactly what you need to do. Okay. Because real example, you want to look like Hugh Jackman in Wolverine, and he's got, he looks good. He's strong. I've seen Hugh Jackman on Instagram in the past, and I don't remember how long ago I saw this, but he deadlifted 500 pounds. He lifts heavy. He has calluses on his hands, which means that if you're telling me you want to look like Hugh Jackman, right, there's going to be some sense of strength involved. There's going to be some tactic and some strategy to enhance your strength. If you're telling me that you want to go to your upstairs bedroom and just ride the Peloton, but you want to look like Hugh Jackman, like, you're not going to get there, buddy. Hugh Jackman's been working out for years. It's been a part of him. So, if you want that, it's very possible, right? It's very possible, but it might take 3 years. It might take 5 years. It might take 2 years. But if you want it bad enough, the time it takes is largely irrelevant. Are you okay with that? And they're like, yes, I can put the Peloton away for a little bit. I can put the Orange Theory away for a little bit. And I'm ready and willing and excited to get calluses on my fingers because I'm gripping Olympic barbells. And I'm ready to harden myself, right? So that's the game plan. And it's going to take game plan nutritionally too. we're going to have to understand exactly what to do nutrition-wise. We're going to have to know exactly how much chicken is on your plate, or how much potatoes is on your plate, or how much broccoli is on your plate. And we're going to have to know, and we're going to have to track, and we're going to have to do that stuff. We're going to have to learn about foods. We're going to have to learn where the best sources of protein come from. We're going to have to learn how much protein we should eat. We're going to have to learn how to adjust it over time. We're going to have to learn about carbs and understand that, carbs are not evil and you can have some, but we're going to understand when those times are and for who specifically and how much specifically for you. And it might seem like a lot, but I promise you it's not, because I've done it with 13-year-olds. And if you're willing to go down this path with me, you're going to know for the rest of your life. And you don't need to be, biochemistry major and, the smartest person in the world to help somebody get a six-pack and be jacked, right? You have to understand scientific evidence-based nutrition, right? I'm not going to plant my flag that I'm the number one smartest nutrition guy in the entire world, and that's why you should work with me. I don't give a shit about that. I've gotten thousands of people ridiculous results. Like that doesn't matter. I understand nutrition in a way that can elicit the result that you want. I'm not even going to say that I'm going to go down in history as the best strength and conditioning coach programmer in the entire world. I've coached combine guys who've had ridiculous times, right? I've done awesome stuff in the sport or in the spirit of strength and conditioning. However, right now and right here where I'm at in my life, the flag that I'm going to plant and say, look, I will stand next to anybody in this arena. And that is my ability to transfer this mentality into a certain person who wants to win at life, who wants to be athletic as fuck, who wants to not be average. I can transfer this mentality that's going to carry with it the weight for a person to buy into the fact that they need to do certain things to get certain things. And I can lay out that plan and people get ridiculous results because my mentality is transferable to them. I understand all that. I understand psychology. I understand the mentality of what it takes to be a champion. And I will go all in there. And then the tactics and strategies of training and nutrition, we put those pillars into your life and bam, we can do it. See, but here's the third part of what I want to talk about today. If number one is having that burning desire, that want, and that why, and number two is laying out a plan, which is what I would do, right? Or what you could do if you watched enough YouTube videos or you wanted to go down this rabbit hole long enough and finally figure out what to do. At some point, you need to know what to do because there's a lot of things that you don't need to do. In fact, I was in my office today and I was having a conversation and people are talking about, it's October in Arizona, it's 90 degrees and they're talking about going on 10-mile hikes, and they like that, and that's cool. But I'm like, dude, I'm going to walk around in my six-pack year-round, and I actually don't like to do that. And, and my whole gripe with 75 hard is not the fact that because we're getting to the same, and this is a whole other podcast, but I was on social media, and, 75 hard was blowing up, and I love Andy. He's one of my inspirations, I love it. And he gets this mentality of people, and that's what he does. He gets this buy-in to this fact that you're going to work out twice, and you're going to drink a gallon of water, and you're going to do this stuff. And it's awesome. Where I'm going to come at it is like, hey, if we're already putting effort in, why not look like a fucking Spartan then? I get the mentality, and you're building that confidence in yourself, and I have zero issues with that. However, if we're going to do it, let's pay attention to the little details that not very many people are paying attention to. And let's be accountable to the things that are really, really easy not to be accountable to. And then you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to see just little ripples in your midsection. And it's like, damn, that's what now I feel invincible anyways by this aesthetic look that I got, right? So point being is when there's this game plan, there's longer ways and shorter ways to get there. Okay. What smart people do is they find a model. They find what I do in business. I'm like, man, I want to make 7 figures in fitness in the online space. What do? I find someone who's made 7 figures in the online space and I pay him a bunch of money and I say, what did you do? And they say, this is what you do. And I say, awesome. You did it. I can do it. Simple. Same thing in fitness. It's like, hey, that's what I do for people. I lay out the plan. But for you, it's like find somebody who's done it, not only on themselves, but have helped other people do it. And there you go. There's a plan you can believe in, and you can model it, right? Now, the last part of the equation, though, is, are you really willing to do what it takes? So I have conversations with people and I say, Jack, what is an obstacle that you can see in the future that could possibly take you off this path and keep you stuck a little bit, or something you struggled with? Could it be time? Could it be, lack of resources? Could it be alcohol? And Jack says, John, yeah, this COVID time has been a little bit hard. I drink, not a lot, but I drink. How much, Jack? Two a night, 3 a night? Well, how much a week? Well, if it was 7 days a week and maybe like 20 drinks. Okay, Jack. You want to look like Hugh Jackman, and you want to be this guy that's an epitome of human performance. And it's going to take this as far as training goes. You don't need to run 10Ks or do 5Ks, but you do need to go to the gym 4 times a week, and you do got to get strong. Your nutrition plan is going to be like this. Are you willing, though, to not have 20 drinks a week? Are you willing to set a goal and have that goal be burning so hot inside of you that, in fact, you could maybe minimize that to maybe only Fridays? So you have like 3 drinks a week, because it's going to mess with your recovery, and it's just not conducive to a high-performing individual. Are you ready to let that go? Are you willing to let that go, Jack? And Jack says, John, I'm all in, man. I'm ready. That's powerful if he's telling the truth, right? But if Jack isn't, and he's like, I don't know, man. Like, that's how I cope. Like, that's just, see, people are addicted to their obstacles. Jack might be addicted to his obstacle of drinking, self-sabotage, whatever it is, self-deserve, self-worth. He's living with a rearview mirror, looking in the past, regretful of all of his mistakes. He's not looking forward. He wants to bury it with alcohol. See, that's a problem. You're not going to look like Hugh Jackman if you can't solve that problem, right? Or, a lighter example would be, John, dude, I joined this Orange Theory class, and I love the fact that it gets my heart rate up, and I love the HIIT training aspect, and I love the circuits, and it's in and out, and I just love it, man. I'd be like, Jack, do you want to look like Hugh Jackman, or do you just want to lose 10 pounds? I want to look like Hugh Jackman. Okay, Hugh Jackman deadlifts 500 pounds, so we're going to have to get strong, Jack. Like, if you want to look like that, remember this game plan on point number 2 that we had for you, right? Oh yeah. Are you willing to give up your Orange Theory membership and to train train like a savage? Like, really? And not like this, this feeling that you sweat a lot and it gets your heart rate up. Are you willing to take the heart rate monitor off, Jack, and to stop gamifying this bullshit and like literally get stronger over time? Or are you not? John, I'm ready. Okay, man, let's go. See, the willingness is going to decide if you're going to be able to hit your outcome or not. And like Urban said in a whole episode I did of this, and maybe this is a similar episode, who knows? But maybe you just got to change your outcome. Nah, I don't want to look like Hugh Jackman, John. I just want to lose 20 pounds, bro. I'm not willing to put that time under tension in there. Cool. That's fine. Right? And so my point of this episode is getting real with yourself. If you don't know what you want, start there. If you know exactly what you want, figure out a way to get the game plan that isn't going to take you in circles, right? Don't read a book on keto and think keto is going to do it. Don't do intermittent fasting and think intermittent fasting is going to do it. Don't, try to read one book on investing and think that, that strategy is a quick fix and hack and you're going to get there. Like, literally get a game plan, preferably from someone who absolutely knows without a shadow of a doubt and who has done it 1,000,000 times. Well, not 1,000,000 times, but hundreds of times. You get the point. And follow that game plan. Follow that game plan. Number 3, obviously, is you got to ask yourself if you're willing to do what it takes. You have to be willing to get that result. And you might be and you might not be, right? And either of those answers is fine for your life, right? If you're like, I want to be athletic as fuck, I want to be a part of that family, that mentality, That's what we talk about. It starts with this conversation. In fact, this could be episode number 1 because this is the start. The desire, the game plan, and the willingness. You have all 3 of those. You can start living at the finish line. The result is inevitable. It just hasn't happened in your physical reality yet, right? But if you're not willing and you're going to try to shortcut and you're going to try to bullshit your way around, like stop acting like you want the thing. Either that's not powerful enough or you're just unable to get out of your own way. You're just unable to stop trying to sabotage yourself with these shortcuts. No matter what it is, it starts with the desire, the game plan, and the willingness. Figure that out for yourself. If you want something more, figure that out now. Shorten the duration of time it takes by focusing on the right things and being 100% willing to do exactly what it takes, nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you so much for joining us for another amazing episode of The Show with John Madsen. The greatest compliment that you could give us is liking, loving, and sharing this episode with all of your friends. So please go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review, and then share it online with everyone that you know. Make sure to tag John as well. He loves to hear from listeners of the show. The links for all of his socials and iTunes are in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to engage John for anything related to his coaching, consulting, or programs, please visit johnmadsen.com for everything you'd need to know on how to engage with John offline. And lastly, thank you for your time, your attention, and your consideration. This is The Show.